Next to me is the all-electric Kia EV9, and it is a gigantic, family-friendly Kia SUV. Now let me start with, let me just start with the sheer size of it. It's pretty big, there's lots of room. It's running on 19-inch alloy wheels, and I'm of average height, about 5'8", and look at where the bonnet comes up to. Feels almost American in size. And talking of American, let's talk about some of the features. These all LED headlamps, they look a little bit Cadillac Escalade, wouldn't you say? Not a bad thing, in my humble opinion. Now, Kia have gone through somewhat of a visual revolution over the last 5 years, making them look almost unrecognizable from the Kia brand that was launched in the UK in 1991, all the way back when Leeds United were about to start their championship winning run in the football, which is rather fitting because we're here at Leeds Big Motoring World. So for all you United fans, that one's for you. Now, the front of this EV9, you have the brand new Kia branding. It's been an evolution, but I think it adds a little bit of modernity to the overall brand. And it does start at the front. As you go through, you've got wing mirrors. They're real. They've got mirrors. They haven't got cameras, but you can see your blind spot assist in here, so you can see if anything is coming up the outside, something we'll explore when we jump in. Handles pop out when you unlock the car, and they're very Range Rover, which makes sense. This is really competing, I guess, with a Range Rover, certainly in size, maybe even an Audi Q7, maybe slightly bigger even than a BMW X5, something to think about when you're looking at your next family SUV. But it's round the back that I think things get even more interesting. Now, towards the back, let's explore the EV section of this EV9. First of all, how do you charge this particular contraption? Well, you've got AC/DC charging up to 150 kilowatt hours. In fact, you get up to 350 if you can find a charger out there in the world that will let you do it. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that via these little ports here, you are going to be able to charge from 10 to 80% in around about 25 minutes, give or take. Now, if you charge to 100%, this EV9 will take you 350 miles. That is according to the lovely people at Kia. In reality, you're probably going to get maybe 250, maybe 260 miles worth of range. Still not bad for a car this size. Now, looking at the light cluster at the rear, just a couple of things that I quite like. You've got nice separate LEDs for your indicators, and the brake lights look like antlers from a deer. Now, if you do run out of room in the back for whatever reason, this EV9 has got a frunk. So under the bonnet, where the engine would usually be in an internal combustion engine driven car, you've got enough room for a small bit of hand luggage, for example, up to a maximum weight of 40 kilograms. So a nice handy little extra. Now, of course, whether it doesn't have an engine, it does have a 100 kilowatt hour battery underneath the chassis. Good for about 350 miles or so, they say. Looking to buy your next car? At Big Motoring World, we have thousands, yes, thousands of cars across our forecourts because we're big on choice and we're big on what matters to you. Now, if you're looking to sell your car, we will give you a 7-day guaranteed valuation if you sell the car to bigwantsyourcar.com. This means when you send us a picture of your car, we don't chip you down on price like some others. And with no admin fees and instant bank transfers, you get the money straight away. Cha-ching! And did I mention that we also pick up your car free of charge? Now let's talk about the luggage space in this EV9, because after all, in a family SUV, how much stuff you can pop in the back is going to be super important. So with the back row of seats up the third row, because every single EV9 comes with 7 seats as standard, you get 333 litres worth of space. Plenty of room for bits and things. For example, this beautiful carry case that Kia provide your EV9 ownership loveliness with, so you can put your charging cables in should you wish. Now, if you want to put the back row of seats down using the lovely handy buttons that you have in the back, well, that space increases to 800 litres. That's 400 2-litre bottles of Diet Pepsi or Coke. Diet, of course, because we're watching our sugar intake. But either way, lots and lots of room for things and for stuff. And if you want to put things and stuff in the back, well, it's a nice low lip. You don't have to worry about having to hoik something over into the boot. Nice, lovely touch, thinking about families. Now, closing the back, electronically done, because it's quite tall, isn't it? You don't want to be jumping up and kind of dragging it down, and then it closes nice and flush, revealing a nice simplistic hatch at the back. I'll tell you what is nice and simplistic at the back. The rear camera is nicely hidden. Doesn't kind of stand out and make itself known, which I quite appreciate. It's a little thing, but it's a little detail that makes a difference. And that camera makes up part of the overall 360 view that you get in this EV9. Talking of a 360 view, let's hop in the front and we can show you the interior of this EV9. Now, if you've bought a Kia EV9, it's because you're going to spend a lot of time in the cabin, moving yourself and your family around. So this part of the video is very, very important, so listen up. Multifunction steering wheel. First of all, paddles on the back. Now, they don't change gears like in other cars. They will adapt the amount of regen braking going through the car. So whether you're going harder or softer when you take your foot off the accelerator, nice use of a traditional thing that you find in a car. It's a nice use of a traditional paddle system. So the steering wheel, you choose your drive mode, of which there are quite a few, 5, Eco, Normal, Sport, My Drive, so your individual setting, and Snow, something that you might get in the UK, you might not. Then to turn the car on, you have a little button that has EV written in the middle of it, but to get anything going, you press that, and then you select your drive mode. So you obviously drive, park, neutral, and reverse. And if you select reverse, you have got a full surround 360 view. I'm going to stop that bonging because it's quite irritating. This has got radar guided cruise control and lane assist, and you manage all of that through your buttons here. And then obviously you answer your phone, volume up and down on your music on the right hand side. And you're going to need that because this has got 6 speakers just in the front alone. In front of you, you've got quite an interesting LCD dashboard makeup. So you've got your dashboard in front of you, which is adaptive. You can change it, but it shows what doors are open, how many miles you have got left in your tank, your miles per hour, all that usual lovely stuff. But a nice little addition that Kia have is when you indicate left or right, a little camera shows up and you can see what is to your left or right, which is a nice little addition. In fact, you will find that also on Genesis, a brand that Hyundai and Kia also have part of the family. Nice little factette for you. Then the final few buttons here in your vicinity, obviously windows up, windows down, fairly standard. Heated steering wheel on, heated steering wheel off, but you have 2 heat settings, and then heated and cooled seats as well. So there's a lot going on in here to keep you comfortable as you're driving the 300 plus miles that this EV9 should give you. Moving into the center, well, your screens continue. Now the screens are 12.9 inches in diameter, apart from a little one that you've got in the middle that is 5.3 inches, which is just for your climate control. I'm going to be honest, it's a bit fiddly, but it's not the end of the world. You can get to it without too much issue. And unlike other cars in this segment, you've got real buttons to put your heat up and down. So the fact that you can't necessarily get to that touchscreen that easily, well, it's not the end of the world. And you adjust your vents manually. Again, unlike some other cars that we see of this age and price point where everything is done through the infotainment. I quite like it, not a complaint. Now the infotainment itself is very responsive and easy to use. A couple of things that I quite like. Now first of all, obviously it shows you how much battery you've got left, choosing your media input and your sat nav, and this has got Android Auto and CarPlay, so all fairly standard stuff. Things that I quite like, voice memo setting, you can record a voice memo and it's in the car. Don't know why you'd need that, but it's a nice interesting thing that I've never really seen. Car wash mode, I quite enjoy, where it tells you that it's got a load of things that you need to do before you enter a car wash, ticks it all off, and then it says you're ready to go. I've never seen that in a car. I like it, fair play, but it's all very good, all very responsive, and actually there's not too much glare on it, which can also be a bit of a problem. But as you move around your infotainment, you've got these haptic, non-haptic buttons, so you do press them, but it looks like it's actually built into the dashboard. You move further down, you've got charging ports, USB-C, of course, this car is less than a year old, so that makes perfect sense. And then there's no central transmission. There is no transmission in an electric car, so you've got loads and loads of room for stuff and things. You can put handbags, wallets, whatever, loads and loads of room in there. Cup holders and general stuff bin, well, fully adaptive in there. You can press a push button and change the size of your cup holders, nice little plus. And then you've got more buttons as you head through the middle. You've got your auto hold on and off. You've got your hill descent option on and off. I guess you might take this off-road, I don't know, you might do. Surround camera, 360 camera button on and off, and then your beepers, your parking sensors on and off. But then a fingerprint detection system where you can log in and change your individual settings. Interesting touch. Wireless phone charging pad here, and then you've got a bit of room in here for things and stuff as well. The seats themselves are very comfortable. They're kind of a bit weirder and more padded than you would get in, say, IKEA, than you do in this Kia. Get it? Kia, IKEA, thank you very much, I'm here all week. And then you go into the back where obviously there's a lot of room. Downside of this cabin in this particular EV9, it's quite dark. There's no panoramic roof or sunroof option on this one, and it does make it a little bit claustrophobic, but I'm really picking at hairs here. This is a lovely cabin at the front. Let's see what it's like in the back. Welcome to the middle row of seats in this EV9. This is, of course, row 2 of 3. So in the back here, first of all, loads of room. This seat is in my driving position. I've got plenty of headroom. This thing is massive. This second row of seats have got a 60-40 configuration split when you pop them down. And then the row at the back has got a 50-50 split. And yes, I will be climbing into that row of seats in a moment. Now, loads and loads of passenger features at the back here. First of all, you can manage your own climate control from the top. You've got a little light and a hook here if you want to read in the dark. But if you're a millennial like me, if you turn the light on in a car at night, your parents convinced you that you would die and crash, so maybe not. Heated and cooled seats, really cool feature in the back for a passenger. And then you've got tinted windows here, but then also a little sun visor should you wish to block out the sun further. If you want to charge a device, well, you've got USB-C at the back of the front seats. And then, of course, generally speaking, it's all very comfortable. When you climb in and out, you've got a nice solid handle here to get in and out of the EV9. Now in the back row of seats, which are of course 50-50 split configuration, there's a fair enough of room, I guess. You've got a window to look out of, you've got cup holders, you've got USB-C chargers so you can charge your devices while you're in here, and you can adjust just how far back you want to lean with the button here, which is pretty handy. They're pretty comfortable. I will say they are probably for smaller humans. I mean, this is, yeah, I mean, I'm squished to high heck here, but it's fine. You can push these forward a little bit, but if you're a fully grown adult, you probably don't want to be in the back here for too long, but that's fine because let's be honest, it's probably just designed for small humans, and away you go. It's a really nice addition, and actually quite important to have if you're moving your family around. So what do I think of this Kia EV9 in summary? Well, I mean, it is big. It would be a perfect family car. Plenty of room for people, children, pets, and things. So that is a big plus. Looks, well, I actually quite like the looks. I imagine they're a little bit polarizing. You might love it, you might hate it, and do you know what? That is fine. Just tell us if you do like the look of it or not. But I think this is rather striking and looks haunchy and brawny enough on the road that you'd feel safe in it, let's be honest. But the interior really is where I think this ticks a lot of boxes. It feels premium enough, it's easy enough to play with in terms of changing what you need in the infotainment, even if you had the distraction of people maybe misbehaving in the back rows, who knows? And then of course the range. A lot of people worry about EV range, but I think this actually for everyday use would be fine. And believe me when I say that the charging infrastructure is good enough that you could take this on quite a decent family holiday. I'll be completely honest. Overall, I think this is a wonderful family car and an excellent option. But if this isn't for you, don't worry, because at Big Motoring World, we're big on choice and we're big on what matters to you.